Hi, this is Craig Stocks, and this is my critique of the day. Today's image was submitted by Wilson Wood. Wilson, thank you for providing the image for us. When I first looked at this image as a small thumbnail in the message I received from Wilson on Facebook, to be honest, it didn't really grab my attention initially, but as I blew it up to full screen and looked at it in more detail, I found more and more things I liked about the image. It's an image from, it looks like a hike or a walk through the woods. You can see a bit of a path here leading over a hill, and then in the distance we see this shoreline illuminated by it looks like the sunlight coming in, maybe early in the day or more likely late in the day, coming in very much from the side. A lot of nice side lighting on the trees showing the texture of the bark. And so it really brought back memories of some of my own hikes through the woods with my wife or my kids or grandchildren. So it really brought back some memories for me. I will say though that looking at the image, the subject of the image was not immediately clear to me. So it's not really clear if the subject is the beach in the background of this shoreline, or if it's the trees or the path. So that's something that we might think about, ways to highlight the particular subject of the image and maybe lead the eye away from the things that are there to frame the subject rather than to be the subject. Looking at the image overall, from a technical point of view, the image is a little bit on the dark side, I think. If you inspect even these highlight areas, even the brightest areas are only about a mid-tone, and of course the dark areas are very dark. So if you look at the histogram, it's skewed very much to the left. One easy way to judge is a picture too light or too dark is to zoom out and you can do this in either in Lightroom or in Photoshop. But change the background color to white and also to black, as well as to the medium gray that you get by default. And especially when you change it to white, it gives you an opportunity to visually compare the brightness of the bright areas to a pure white. And frequently what you'll find is an image that looks okay against the medium gray background, starts to look too dark when you see it against a white background, and sometimes it may even look too bright if you look at it against a black background. So you try to find a happy medium by expanding the brights or the shadows or the brightness overall. Try to find a happy medium where it looks equally good against all three backgrounds is maybe the best advice I could give for trying to find the right level of brightness. And of course that brightness will also help determine if the shoreline back here is the subject. By making it brighter, it would make it pop out a little bit more. The other thing that you might consider, it looks like you've used a low camera angle. We have some nice out of focus foreground here, and I really like the way the path leads us into the image and towards what I think is the intended subject, which is the shoreline in the distance. You might consider brightening the path and maybe even darkening some of the surrounding area to highlight that path a little bit more so that it becomes a stronger leading line leading the viewer into the subject. Now, in a perfect world, it would be nice if some of these vertical trees, the trees in the middle weren't there. Obviously they were there, and there's not much you can do about that other than change your point of view. Sliding a little bit more to the left, and again, I don't know if that was even possible, but in a perfect world, if you had been able to move more to the left or perhaps a little closer so that more of the shoreline is visible and would become a more dominant feature in the center, and again, assuming that shoreline was the intended subject of the image, might help center it a little better and make it a more dominant subject in the image. But overall, I think this was a successful image. I say I really like the scene. It brought back a lot of memories for me of hiking through the woods. I like the way the path leads us into the scene and the way it's framed by the trees with this beautiful side light that really brings out the texture and the bark of the trees. So Wilson, once again, thank you for submitting your image, and for everyone else, let me know what you think in the comments if you find this useful, and also I'd encourage you to submit your own images for us to take a look at and think about and share with the community. Thanks, and have a great day.